You've worked with Ricardo in the past, and he actually had thought of you for this role. What was that initial conversation when he pitched this project to you? What was it about it that resonated with you?
Well, Ricardo and I have been friends for a long time, and after Burned, we wanted to find something else, together. And so he came up with this project, and my first instinct was no, because I said I've done my bit in the racing world.
Hmm.
I said I played Nicky Lauda. I cannot do another race film. He said no, but it's not the driver. Don't worry. It's a sidekick role. It's a small part playing the Audi manager. And I said like Audi, because I've been sponsored by Audi for a long time, and so I thought like that could
Mm.
be fun. And he said, "You will see. We're always making fun of each other. We can bring this to another level in the film." So I had a look at it and loved it. I was intrigued by it right away because, in fact, uh, it's a different game. The rally sport and Formula One, these are very
Yeah.
two different worlds. And also cinematically speaking, what I saw on the page was something else. So I didn't have the impression that I'm repeating myself. When I was shooting it, I never thought of Rush really, so which was a good
Mm.
feeling.
Yeah.
Extremely fond of Rush. It's one of my standout experiences in my professional life. But it yeah, it was a different film, and I'm very happy with the result. I think they accomplished their mission, and
Yeah.
it's very fun to watch.
There's so much
Yeah.
authenticity that comes off the screen. And like so many people are part of this project, you're also a multifaceted storyteller who's written and directed and produced. How have your experiences behind the camera influenced the way that you approach your work on screen and interpret characters like Roland and scripts like Race for Glory?
You always learn, and I did my debut film, which was a wonderful experience to finally be the captain of the ship and to be part of
Mm.
every single process along the way. I mean, I love making films, and sometimes it's a bit frustrating if you're an actor and you're excluded of so many steps. And so I want to repeat this again. So by working with Ricardo, who's also a passionate producer, uh, and was so into the project, on so many levels. It was just fascinating to watch how other people do it. You can
Mm.
always learn to take away something for yourself. And this is the nice thing. It doesn't stop to be a learning process. And every approach, every is so different, and it's always and here, for instance, the challenge is how do you translate the fascination for a sport to the screen and cinematically? How do you do that so that you don't sit there at the end of the day and think like, oh, watching a race is more fun than watching a film? And that is why when this works, and it worked in Rush and it works in this one as well, um, means that there's a lot of expertise, thoughts coming from the makers, um, and um, and the Italians have a crazy way of shooting and getting there. It's guerrilla like. But that's how you catch the authenticity.
Mm.
Sometimes it was spontaneous decisions by the director. Put the camera right in there. Don't wait so that the light is nice and just go in there, catch the moments. In the races, let's just have another camera here, another camera there. Let's go for a crazy angle. Let's do this and that. And this is what you see in the in the film, that feverish energy, the yeah, that authenticity. Great soundtrack,
Yeah.
great music. So you really delve into I'm 45, so I got very nostalgic. I was born in 78, and I just watching the film, seeing these colors, the texture,
Mm.
everything about it just transfixed me, and I thought like, oh man, that reminds me of my childhood.
It strikes that perfect balance between being character driven and also honoring the sport. And like you were saying earlier, you're no stranger to playing iconic figures in history. And I know for a Rush, you had the opportunities to speak with the man who you were depicting on screen. How different is that preparation when you're portraying a real life person? And were you able to speak with Roland ahead of filming?
This was I always leave it in the hands of the makers again, of
Mm.
Ricardo, of Stefano, because I asked for a contact, and they said, No, they wanted to enter without any restraints and so forth. So the team of Gumpert had contacted me after they had known that I was in the film, but then I was deep into something else. So I haven't met him yet, but I can't wait. I had read interviews, watched interviews. I'd read about Gumpert, and for the size of that role, for the scale of it, it was enough for me um, to to work with. In the case of Lauda, because this film was on the shoulders of me and Chris, I needed. I told production I need to spend as much time as I can with Niki
Mm.
Lauda. Otherwise, I cannot play the part. So I was really persistent then. And then Niki, thankfully, called me one day, grumpy as he was, said, okay, then come to Vienna. And then he liked me. And then at the end, I spent far more time with him than I actually had expected.
Mm.
And that's what made the film good, because I couldn't have done it without the support of Nikki. So it always
Yeah.
depends on the specific project, how big or small your part is, and how the makers see it. So I think also Volker hasn't met Walter Röhrl. It was something that I think the Italians deliberately wanted to us to be as free and not limited, because sometimes it can be limiting when you
Yeah.
meet the person. In that case, for example, I'm pretty sure that Gumpert is a very nice guy, and I knew that I had to play a bit of the German, I had to be a bit unpleasant. So sometimes it maybe helps if you're not, worried about the actual person, and it doesn't become a burden.
Yeah. Great answer. I got one final question for you. You've worked on projects of all sizes. What is it about independent filmmaking that excites you as a creative and a storyteller?
Well, I guess the freedom, there's always pressure on each and every film. It's always a
Hmm.
fight. And that's what I love about it, because it's madness every time, making a film is done by very, obsessed and crazy people. Just how it is. There's so much money and energy and time that goes into it by so many people who work these long hours, and to tell that story, there's something very beautiful about that doesn't stop being fascinating to me. And every experience, every ride is different. And in the indie films, I come from that world. It speaks to me a lot, because this is the cinema that I like watching
Hmm.
as an audience, as a spectator. It sometimes allows you to not be too much in the typical formula. You can allow yourself to free yourself a bit from from a certain formula, and take more risks, and be free. So also for my next film, I don't want that massive budget. On the contrary, I don't want to have that
Hmm.
pressure. I don't want to fulfill, a certain kind of, success to make it work. No, 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 no. I want to try and be as free and authentic as I possibly can.